always learn to listen to your body. So 3 main functions: to grow and also to get energy to move about, and also to protect ourselves. Just before sleeping, don't watch the tabs or phone. And sometimes we talk about things like dyspepsia. And what's the age that a person can get diabetes? Because if you eat a whole plate of rice, it will only give you energy. So naturally occurring foods are the best. But we would use the word processed, so they are not in the natural form. You might be thin today, but that doesn't mean that you are going to be thin every day. Thank you so much, Diniru, for inviting me here first of all. So he's my son's classmate as well. So it's extremely honor. It's a great honor to me. So I'm Dr. Manoji Gamage. I'm a consultant nutrition physician. So I had my primary education in Southlands College, Galle, and then I moved on to my medical career. After finishing my basic degree in MBBS, I have obtained an MSc in human nutrition and followed my career to do the MD in clinical nutrition. So here I am today as a consultant nutrition physician. So at the moment I am attached to the nutrition division of the Ministry of Health, and also I look after clinical patients. So I think that's about me. So it's lovely meeting you all today. It's so nice to see you small people. So let's talk about nutrition.
When we learn about nutrition, it's a huge, vast subject that you have a lot to learn about. So
yeah.
I would like to know what made you interested in nutrition, and what is the cause that made you interested to become a physician in nutrition?
I would say I'm one of you. So that is because I also like to talk to people like you all. So probably you're here today is because of your passion to become a public speaker and a person who can present well. So it was my passion also when I was a student. So I did drama and debating and all that. So I wanted to be a doctor because I liked it. I wanted to heal people, but I also wanted to talk to them. So you know, when you go to a hospital, doctors are somewhat set back. They just write you the medicines and all. So in my career as a doctor, I wanted always to have an opportunity to talk to my patients as well. So I thought nutrition would lead me to an opportunity where I could talk also to my patients. So we are going to start to eat smart. So let's talk, why do we need food? Why do we eat food?
To live.
All right, yeah, to live.
To get energy for our body.
Yeah, that's nice, yes. So tell me, why do you want food? Yeah, so we need energy, we need to live. What else?
Nutrition.
Yeah, nutrition. And what else? Very good, yes, to prevent from diseases. So there are multiple reasons why we eat food. Yeah. So who knows this car? I'm not a big car fan, but I'm sure you all are. So what do we expect from this car? Of course, to drive very fast. Yeah. So to be very fast, and for the rider to be comfortable. It's a very comfortable car and a very flashy car, so that everything around is nice, elegant, and very efficient, perhaps. So then, will it run like if you just buy it and you keep it like that? Will it do all that work? Yeah? No, it won't. So what do you have to put? Of course, you have to put petrol. So yes, we have to pump petrol, isn't it? So that is the whole idea of food. So we have the machine in our body, but we need to pump in something good, some fuel to keep us shining, growing. So as children we have to grow, and then we have to be stronger, and also we have a lot of viruses, bacteria and all that. So likewise she said, so we have to protect ourselves from all the things that are around us. So 3 main functions: to grow, and also to get energy to move about, and also to protect ourselves. So if you can remember a few years back, there we had a fuel crisis. So we had a talk about good petrol, good diesel, bad diesel. Have you heard about that? People mixing kerosene oil with the petrol. Yeah. So if you put to this Lamborghini a petrol that is mixed with kerosene, what would happen? Exactly, the car won't function very well. So it is the same with the food. So this is the petrol or the energy or the things that we take in is the food, and if it is not good, it won't work properly. So that is why as humans we should have a basic knowledge of the food, the fuel that we take to live. So what will happen if we don't eat good food? Can you just explain somebody the first picture? Stomach ache. So when do you get stomach aches? Bad food, no? When they are when are stale, and when they are raw, bad smelling. So and when it is contaminated with microbes. So sanitation is very important. Keeping the food clean. So it should be clean, isn't it? So otherwise we get stomach aches, and then we might get certain diseases like cholera, isn't it? So all the bad bugs that we don't want to. And sometimes we talk about things like dyspepsia, which is you get the heartburns, like you get gastritis is the common word that you use. Yeah. So I don't think any of you have that, but of course you would have heard about people having it, isn't it, at home? So what do those aunties, uncles, archies and CERs say when they say that they have gastritis? Yes? Eat well. And what do they say? What kind of foods might be triggering them? Spicy food, yes, that's good. And yeah, sometimes, and also oily food, isn't it? So oily, spicy, so these foods can irritate your GI tract. So it's a very smooth lining inside your GI tract. It's a very soft lining. So anything that is corrosive, not good, hard, will hurt it. And then you get things like gastritis. So therefore we have to make sure that we eat things that are not harming our food system, our body. Yeah. And what is the next picture? Yes, exactly. Who said that? Malnutrition. You said? Yeah, that's the word. Yeah. So what did you want to say, Putta? Yeah, of course. So do you have nangis and mallis at home who don't eat, and mother is always chasing behind to feed? Do you have such people at home? I'm sure you're not like that. You're not like that, yeah. So you eat, right? So I see you're the right size. So if there's anybody at home who is not eating, please tell them this message that they have to eat. Otherwise, you won't get tall or strong, yeah. I don't want you all to be this. Yeah, what is that? So you have to eat appropriately. If you don't eat enough, you become thin, and then of course when you don't have the right fuel inside you, you'll be sick, you'll be thin, so you're not strong, you won't withstand any other problems in the world like the diseases you won't stand. So it is your responsibility as a human to eat when it is given the healthy food. Yeah? And mothers should not be running behind you at this point to feed you all, because it's your sole responsibility as a human to eat the proper nutrition. So, and also don't eat too much. So if you eat too much, what happens? Obesity. Yes, of course. So you get obese. What do you think about obesity? Of course, you get overweight, and what can it lead to? Yeah, it can lead to diabetes. And what's the age that a person can get diabetes? Of course, beyond infancy, which is up to 1 year, anybody could get, potentially. Anybody could get diabetes. So, there are inherited causes of diabetes, that is a different section. But of course, children are now starting to get diabetes, unlike those days. When we were going to school, we never heard about people who become fat and got diabetes. But now as a nutrition physician, I see many children who come with obesity and then they develop diabetes. So therefore, we all live and learn. Nobody is perfect. So you might have habits that are not good and you might not be your right size. But it's always a new day, a new start. So that's why we are here today. So you can start today to fine tune your body shape. Yeah. So to see, now I haven't brought that here, but to see whether you are in your right size, is there a way? Is there a way to see whether you are in your right size, whether you are in the, yeah? Exactly. So how do you calculate the BMI? So weight divided by height double times. So weight එක height එකේ වර්ගයෙන් බෙදන්න ඕන. weight එක kilogram වලින් height එක meters වලින් වර්ගය. Right? So go home, do that today. And you have a book at home, maybe you have not seen it, which is called a Child Health Development Record. So you're obviously above 5 years. At the back of the book, if you turn, there is a chart, a BMI for age chart and a height for age chart. Okay. So you go home today, turn the back of your CHDR. Everybody has a book. Definitely everybody have a book. So that is a pink color book for the girls and a blue color book for the boys. So at the back of it, there are two charts. One is height for age chart, other one is the BMI for age chart. So calculate your BMI. You know how to do it now. You can even search the net. Put it in the chart and see where you are. Okay. Will you do that for me today? And Diniru, it's your responsibility in your next session to check all whether these guys have done it. Yeah? And if there is anybody who is not within the range, then we could discuss. I am happy to discuss with anybody who is not in the range. Yeah? Okay. So those are the things that is important that we take food for. We should not eat too much. We should not eat too little. And we should always eat food that are good and healthy. So that's about food. And also once again to remind you about the rat who went in the cogwheel. You know that the wheel that the rats run around, you know, that you see in the pictures. So you know so there was once an experiment where they took a rat. The fellow was running perfectly well, and he was running perfectly well with his natural environment. And then these ones wanted to test, so they gave him food, excess of what he naturally wants. Gave too much and make him stronger, perhaps somebody would say. But actually he couldn't complete the cogwheel, he was too fat. So he couldn't keep on running. So therefore, it's a very important message that I want to give you all today. What are good food? So now we know that we need food to keep us going, and we know that we have to eat the right amount of food, not too much, not too less. So what are good food? So naturally occurring foods are the best. Yeah. So from the things that you eat today, or perhaps, so what are naturally occurring food, do you think? Yeah, of course, they are natural, isn't it? Yeah. Anything else? Yeah? Yeah, for example, so we have vegetables. Yeah, of course. And what else? Sorry? Fruits, exactly. Anything else that is naturally occurring things, food? Yeah. Okay. So, but also we have the other natural things, that's good. So we came up with natural foods, we talked about vegetables, and we think that yams and fruits are natural. So what about fish? Is it natural? Yeah, it is. No, they are animals. So they are natural. So fish is natural. So what about meat? Chicken? Yes, those are natural. So they are natural, yeah? And also what about the milk you drink? Yeah? So they are natural. Yeah? So what about the ratakaju you eat? So they are natural. So can someone tell me what are not natural food?
Processed.
Yes, exactly. Processed food. So somebody said biscuits, yeah? Yeah. So why are biscuits not natural? Who told that? Exactly. So they have adulterated the food to make this biscuit. Yeah? So what else? What are other unnatural or processed? We would not use the word unnatural, but we would use the word processed. So they are not in the natural form. They are being changed. So what are other things? Yep. Yeah, like? Yeah. So they are not, no? So they are not, they are being processed. So more processed you make it, the more things you add to it. Longer the shelf life, more the chemicals. So it becomes like the petrol that was mixed with kerosene. So same effect. So if you take the natural form as it is with minimum processing, what do I mean by minimum processing? Now can you eat a fish alive? Yeah? So what would you mean by minimum processing? So you can eat a fish alive. Very good. But I'm sure most of us can't, isn't it? Right, so then what should we do? Yeah? What would be your minimum processing? Yeah, you can bake it, you can boil it, isn't it? So minimum processing. So then, okay, now I talk about fish, I talk about chicken and minimum processing. So what is there in sausages? What is there in sausages? Yeah, so it's not minimally processed. So hereafter I will talk in my lecture also, you will know what is a minimally processed food. So that means minimally made it in a safe way. Of course we can't eat raw things everywhere. So we cannot eat yams raw, can we? So we have to boil it, otherwise it won't digest. We are not cows, we can't eat all that. So then we have to process it, we have to boil it, heat it. But if you put more and more chemicals into it, more and more chemicals, then it becomes processed. And then it actually becomes poisonous to us. So we should eat the food in its natural form. So just again, so what are the main food groups? So now if you take all the food in the world, if you divided it into separate categories, there are 6. So I brought this for you. So these are the 6 categories. Yeah, so we have the starchy food, that is the one that gives us energy. And then we have the fruits and vegetables, elavalu palathuru. So that is what gives us vitamins and minerals. And then we have the fish, meat and the protein part. And then we have the milk and milk components like curd and yogurt. And also we have nuts and oil seeds, which are the things like ratakaju, walnuts, things like that. So these are the 6 food groups and they have 6 functions or more. So each one is important. Each one is important for us because they give different nutrients. Yeah? So it gives different nutrients and we need each of that. So because of that, a balanced diet is where we take all of them in a mixture. So these are the cereals and yams, fruits and vegetables, fish and pulses and eggs, milk and milk products, nuts and oil seeds. Yeah, so these are the 6 food groups. So we discuss a little bit about cereals. So cereals, yams and carbohydrates. So what does it give us? What is its function in our body? What will it give? Exactly. So it will give us energy, no? It will give us the energy to grow and all that. So we have to give enough energy, and so then we have to choose carbohydrates and cereals and yams. And when we are choosing that also, we have to choose what did I tell before, just before? Yeah, minimally processed. So it has to be closer to natural. It has to be closer to natural. So that is where we choose. So if we eat rice, it's quite natural. But if we eat rolls, it is very highly processed. And so if you eat now, what else? Like say, for an example, when we make flour, which is a carbohydrate, to make oily food, maybe some things like now if you make things like kottu, yeah. So kottu is not bad, but if you put too much of oil and too much of salt, that food becomes bad. So these are the carbohydrates, and you have to try to take it in a natural form, okay? Right. Right. So then we have the proteins. So proteins are the fish, meat, eggs and those things. So why are they important for us? Yes, it does help us. So almost all the cells are proteins, mainly the muscles, for our strength, for the muscles, yeah. So when you all get bigger, and sometimes some young men come to us to get stronger muscles. So they want to do weights and to get muscles, and then they talk about proteins. Yeah, so muscle building, it's important, the proteins. And of course for the bone growth also we need protein. So to grow taller, we need proteins. So if you want to grow taller, you have to take your proteins. Is there anybody who is a vegetarian here? You're a veggie, so that's perfect. So of course this is for you then. So what items do you take to complete your protein requirement?
Rice, fish. I sometimes eat, like I used to eat, but now I stopped eating it. I eat soya. I eat polos, random, beetroot, dal, and most of like the Sri Lankan type stuff.
Yeah, that's great. So make sure that you have pulses in your meals. So pulses, that means those are the ones that give proteins mainly for the vegetarians. So if there's anybody vegetarian, make sure your morning breakfast is ideally a pulse maybe. For the adults, you can, if you are vegetarian. Then for the Archies and Siyas who have taken off from eating flesh, so then make sure that your morning meal is a pulses, ranila boga, like kadala, kaupi, mungat and all that. So it has a protein portion, also it has carbohydrates, remember, but it has protein. So for you, what's your good name, Puta? Yenu. So Yenu, so eat every day pulses. You can make it as a curry or maybe as a main meal. And of course you have soya products, and when you are using soya products, tofu, tempeh, that kind of things are much better than eating soya meat. And of course, do you take milk?
Yes.
Okay, so that's a very good source of protein. So one glass will give as much as a fish, 30 grams of fish. So you have to take your milk as well. So Yenul, so what can you remember? So what are the vegetable sources of protein? What should Yenul eat? Others? Yeah? 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 Yeah, so those will give you a balanced diet. For all the others, you can eat the fish, meat, all that in your main meals. So make sure that it is a part of your meal, especially now you all most are getting to become teenagers. So you have, this is the time that you grow the fastest after your infancy. It's the first peak of growth where they grow very tall, very fast, up to 2 years. Then again, there is another peak that all of us can contribute to ourselves. That is the time that you are entering. So the adolescence. So for girls starting from 10 years, for boys starting perhaps from about 12 years, 10 to 12 years. So this is the time that you are catching your height, adult height. So now you are in a time that you have to be really vigilant about what you eat. your proteins, your fruits and vegetables, because you are taking your last centimeters in your life. So then you can decide how tall you become and how strong you are going to stand in front of your friends, whether you have to peek up or whether you are down, you can decide. So if you eat well your proteins, you will grow taller. But eating proteins only will not help you. You have to do exercises. We'll talk about that also, okay? Right, so then moving on to fruits and vegetables. So of course, it has multiple colors. So why do you think we have multiple colors? So the yellow ones, what do have mostly? Yeah, vitamin A. But that doesn't mean that Papo has only vitamin A. It's that it has more vitamin A. So all the fruits and vegetables do have a lot of vitamins and minerals, and there are some things that are prominent in these vegetables and fruits. Yeah, so the yellow color ones are naturally having carotene, which is vitamin A. And why is vitamin A important to us? Very good. Yes, so they say that the vitamin A is important for the rods and cones growth in our eyes. So therefore, we have to consume a balanced diet. So don't eat too much of Papo and get carotenemia. But of course, yeah, you become really yellow. I have seen people like that. But take it in a balanced meal. And also for the girls, your skin becomes very supple and starts looking bright when you take vitamin A. Right, so that's about that. So we have different vitamins and minerals. So different vitamin and minerals in different colors. Yeah, so that is why we have to eat a rainbow color, they say. So try to make your plate a rainbow color, so for the parents. So when you arrange your day's meal, try to make it from different colors, at least 2 vegetables, that's fine with all the work. So try to make it from 2 different colors. So green leaves and maybe carrots, or maybe brinjals and green leaves. So different colors will give different nutrients. So it's important that we make our meal a rainbow. So for Diniru, you can make your salads a rainbow for them to eat. Yeah? Okay. Right. So it will give us vitamin and minerals will protect ourselves from diseases. Yeah? Now we all know that we chew a vitamin C tablet when we get common cold. Though it is not evidence based, it helps. And also what else? So what other important things does the fruits and vegetables have that are important for our digestive system? Very good. So what does fiber do? Yeah, yes, that's exactly. And also it makes the very smooth propagation. Now I told you that the GI tract has a very thin layer across it. So then it is good if things are not hard inside. So fiber will digest it properly and make a big bulk, and then you can go to the toilet very easily. So you will not get constipation. So for all those, if you are suffering with constipation or having difficult time in going to toilet, eat your fruits and vegetables today and you will be good after that. Yeah? And for the Archies and Siyas also, you might have people at home who say that it's a bit difficult for them to go to the toilet. So you have to tell them to eat what? Fruits and vegetables. So they will give you fiber and then you can have a smooth bowel opening. Yeah? That's fine. And then, so this is about the milk. So milk, we talked about the proteins that we have in it, and also it has what else? It has calcium for the bones and also vitamin D if you add it. So then for the bone growth as well as for the whole growth, it's important. Right. So any questions from the 6 food groups? Right. So do you want to get up and sit? Yeah. Maybe get up, put your hands up and sit back. Otherwise you get bored. Yeah. Please. Stand up, put your hands up. All right. Hold it there. Okay. And you can wriggle yourself as you want. and then you can sit. Otherwise you get bored, isn't it? And then you get sleepy also on a Saturday morning. So we talked about the 6 food groups, isn't it? Yeah. So in how many amounts do we have to eat this? So do we have to eat a gunny bag full of vegetables, or what do you think? Yeah? Yeah, it's a balance. So it should be a nice balanced plate. So this is the plate. So it's actually half. Half of it should be from the carbohydrates. Because if you eat a whole plate of rice, it will only give you energy, not the vitamins and minerals. So that is why we should not eat a whole plate of rice and not eat our vegetables and fruits. I hope all of you are keen in taking vegetables and fruits. Everybody is keen, yeah? Okay, that's good. So half of the plate should be from the carbohydrates, which can be rice and, as you said, yams. So, but it has to be half. So this is also for the adults. So if you don't have diabetes, hypertension or cholesterol or NCDs, non-communicable diseases, if you have that, then it is quarter of the plate actually. But if you are a healthy adult, half of the plate is only that should come from the carbohydrate. Yeah. So this is how your plate should look. Now don't go home and trouble your mother to cook 3 curries every day. So it is just to say that at least 2 vegetables to fill this part, and a protein source. I hope all of you are eating proteins, right? So if you are not, please do. Okay? So this plate will make you stronger and very tall. So this is what we want to eat. And these are the proportions, remember. Yeah? And if you have any friend who is eating a heap of rice but not eating fruits and vegetables, so you have to convey this message. Okay? So this is how your plate should look. So other than the main plate, we do eat what is called snacks. Do you? At 10 o'clock you eat something in the interval, and at 4 o'clock you eat something at home. Yeah. So this is also fuel. So when you take the snack, you have to make sure that it is also healthy. So raise up children who take your breakfast before leaving school. To school. Be honest. Okay, that's great. And those who are taking a glass of milk before going to school without breakfast? Without breakfast. Anybody? Yes. Yes, so you take a glass of milk and you eat it at the interval. Yeah? Right. So now, my dear, so as I told you about the balanced plate, so glass of milk is one of the 6 food groups. Now you remember that, right? So then it is not a complete meal. So if you are taking a meal, taking a glass of milk, you take it with perhaps a banana. Yeah? Now can you do that? Those who take the glass of milk? Yeah? Anybody, any suggestions that you want to do other than the glass of milk? Because glass of milk is not a balanced diet. And you need to have a balanced diet before you leave to your school to keep your concentrations and all. If you don't take the breakfast as a child, you won't take it as an adult. Because if you start doing that, it will help you to work well in your school. Otherwise, till 10:30, you are not having a proper meal. Yeah, so you might not know, but your brain can be having less glucose. So you might not be able to concentrate. You might faint in the assembly. And also, as an adult, you will skip your breakfast. And of course, life is a lot busier when you are an adult. And then you might not eat and you might develop gastritis and those things. So just leaving from home, learn to take a meal. Okay? Yeah? So that's a message to take.
What about drinking milk with cereal?
Cereal. Now when I talk about the processing of food, what do you think? highly processed. So you can use it times to time, but it is not the best of choices. Right, and so when you do the snacks, so take healthy snacks. So what are the healthy snacks? So healthy snacks would be things like maybe a glass of milk, things like yogurts, and things like fruits are good snacks, nuts are good snacks, and bada eating good things like that. So when you are eating a snack, always eat a healthy snack. So best would be a fruit. A fruit is good, a banana or something like that, or a glass of milk, a piece of cheese, or maybe some kadla kaupi, or something like bada iringu, something like homemade pancake, things like homemade things, and also things like the ancient days ones like badguli, aggala. So those are good things. So if you eat a roll, it's highly processed. So you deep fry it and it's from outside. So then that becomes a bad snack. So but we all live and learn. We can change today. So let's change to eating healthy snacks. So these are the things that we should not eat. That doesn't mean that you should not eat at all, but you should not eat it every day. Limit your sugar and sweet intake. Yeah. So why? Because you will get obese and your teeth will decay, and also you will get diabetes and those things. So now if I ask, let's say somebody, okay, this Putta. Now if I tell you not to eat sugar, you might think in your brain, see, I am not a fat person, what is this lady telling me? Isn't it? Do you think like that? Yes. So you might be thin, but you should not eat sweet, because you will never know when you will be fat. You might be thin today, but that doesn't mean that you are going to be thin every day. So then when you eat sweets, you tend to get what is called a sweet tooth. Yeah, so then you like sweets. In your small days, when you start eating a sweet lot, you will like sweets. You will have a sweet tongue also. So then when you are big and you have enough money to buy things, you will go and buy donuts and everything as much as you like. Because you have money now. No mama and dada to control you. You have money, you're of your own. You go and eat what you like to eat, isn't it? So that is why it's important not to eat too much of sweets from the small days, so that you are ready to not eat too much when you are big. Yeah. So that's important. So from today onwards, don't do that, okay? And also you have to drink properly. Now why do we need to drink properly? Because almost 2/3 of our body is made out of water. So then as the car I showed before, just as the food, you also have to give your water intake. So water is important. So all of you should know the signs of dehydration, like so when your body is not having adequate water. Yep. So the warning signs. So if you have a dry mouth, if you feel thirsty, so that means the body is telling you you need to drink. So you should not keep on working, running, playing when you are thirsty. You have to stop and drink. You have to listen to your body. Always learn to listen to your body. Body will know what it needs. If you want to go to toilet, don't hold it. If you want to go to put pass urine, don't hold it in the class. It's called the nature's call. So there is nothing above nature. There is nothing above nature. So if the nature calls you, do it, right? So if you want to urinate, you want to use the toilet, go. Don't do that. If you hold it, problems. If you go against nature. And if you feel thirsty, if you want to drink water, drink. That means you need it. Yeah. So dry mouth, sometimes people get muscle cramps, especially those who do sports might have got this. Anybody doing sports? Okay. So if you go on doing it, sometimes you get cramps, so that might be due to dehydration. Some people get headaches just because they are not drinking enough water. Yeah. And sugar craving also can come, and also fatigue, All those can come because of less water. So listen to your body and look into the color of your urine. You know what urine is, right? Do you know what urine is? The pee, yeah? Okay. So remember, when you go to the toilet, look what color your urine is. Okay, just don't look idle and look up and just dream and urinate. Just see what color it is in the commode, right? So it is supposed to be quite clear. Yeah, it is supposed to be quite clear. If it is yellow, dark yellow, red is dangerous. So if it is towards orange, that means you are not hydrated. Usual urine is colorless, no color. So make sure in school, after sports, before sports, anywhere, any day, check the color of your urine, and depending on that, drink water, hydrate yourself. After all, there is nothing that will stop you other than ill health. You might be a good athlete, but any game can stay, but the body is of nature, it's not of yours. So you have to look after it, right? It's like looking after anything. So always remember, check the color. So drink water. So water is the best to hydrate. Now raise up the hands, those who feel thirsty, and then go to the shop, and what would you buy? So of course after school, no, you get very thirsty, isn't it? And the bottle of water is also finished now, you have drunk it. So what are you going to take? You have a chance of going to the boutique and buying something for yourself. Yeah, what do you buy before the evening practices? So there it is. Yeah, I'm sure the others also like that. So you have not only taken hydration, but you have taken that bad sugar. You have taken that bad sugar. Yeah, so it's not good. So if your body needs hydration, it needs hydration. It doesn't need sugar. So water is the natural thing. So whenever you take something and try to drink it or eat it, always think. So most important thing is to think what you eat and drink. And when we drink, we should not drink anything that is unhealthy, okay? So that means not fizzy drinks or sweet drinks. So it's water. Water is what is always best. And so from today onwards, learn to read the label. Now there is what is called a color coding system in all the packeted foods in Sri Lanka. So that is the regulation. So you have to read the label. Label like a balanna. When you read the label, you will see what are processed foods and unprocessed foods. So have you seen ingredients kila section ekak tiyena? So you have seen a label ekේ තියෙනවා ingredients kila section එකක්, yeah? So when you read the ingredients, yeah, and if you find things that you do not know, now in the kitchen we are using the salt, the sugar, we are using them inside the house. So if you have in the ingredients, if you have things that you haven't heard of, especially numbers, E numbers, and those lot of numbers, so that means they are all chemicals. So therefore, hereafter, look into your labels and see whether there are things that you do not know. So if there are things that you do not know, that means they are chemicals. So therefore, try to only take things that have things that you know. Obviously, you don't want to buy things and put to your body things that you don't know. Your body is the most precious thing to you in the world, isn't it? So even when you are choosing something, we try to choose the best. So when you go to a shop to buy a dress, you would try to see whether it fits you, isn't it? And whether you like the color, you will look. And you will look whether it is comfortable. Also you will look, no? You will try to take a dress that is comfortable. You will try to choose what is the best color for yourself. So you are so choosy when you are trying to choose things just to wear. So do you do that, or do you give that attention to the food that actually you put inside? So that is the question you have to remember. So, whenever there is a label, read it. Learn to read it as a child. And if there are things that you do not know, දන්නේ නැති ಜಾති තියෙනවා නම් ඒ label එකේ ingredients ගොඩේ ඒ කියන්නේ ඒකේ chemicals තමයි ඒවා. එතකොට you are taking things high in chemicals. ඒක නිසා හැමතිස්සෙම බලන්න දන්න ಜಾති තියෙන එකක් ගන්න. Then for an example ගත්තොත් if you take a fresh milk packet ඔය අඹේවල හරි ඒ වගේ fresh milk එක ගත්තොත් ඒකේ ingredients වල තියෙයි milk කියලා. But if you take a kiri packet which is vanilla flavored or anything like that, if you check the label, you will find other than milk, there are a lot of other E numbers. That means that is adulterated. The fresh milk is natural. That milk is adulterated. So therefore, always choose, look at the label, look at the traffic lights. So red is bad. We all know red is danger. So if there is a red in the label, that means it has either high sugar, high salt or high oil. So it has. If it is amber mostly, that means it's a medium, green is the best. So when you take a food item, look at the label, that is, if you take that message home, that is enough for me. So if you take the label, see whether it is actually green. So if it is mostly green, that means it is good. So if it is having at least one red, that means there is something, there is some tricky thing, either too sugar, too salt or too oily. Then you have to be careful. That means you can eat, but you should not eat every day. So it is something that you take occasionally. Yeah. So try to take food that are mostly green and less ingredients. And finally, be very physically active. So now you are in the adolescence. That means now you are going to go into the second peak of your growth, and you are trying to gain height. So those who are interested in getting taller have to eat their proteins, get a balanced diet, and also do exercises. So if you don't just eat, you won't grow. So it has to have some exercises. So therefore, always learn to have exercises at least 1 hour per day. So you can play outside, you can play with your friends. If you are just a single child, you can do Zumba or anything that you like to do at home, ride the cycle. So make sure that at least 1 hour per day you are going to do physical activities, okay? And also about screen time. So what are you all probably using tabs and phones, isn't it? You don't. So trace those who are seeing tabs and phones. Yeah, so that let's be honest. So I think everybody does. So in that matter, don't spend too much of time on screens. So recommendation is 1 to 2 hours daily maximum. Yeah, 1 to 2 hours daily maximum, including for your school work when it comes to screens. And don't just watch it for too much, because it is not going to do you any good. One thing, you will be physically inactive, and people might debate that you learn from it. But of course, the time is 1 to 2 hours. Yes, you might be able to learn new things, but the time is 1 to 2 hours, because your brain is growing, it has plasticity. It's not like an adult brain. So let your brain develop its imagination, its good connections. So all those come from the natural environment and not from the tabs. Is anybody watching the tab just before the sleep? For what reason do you watch now? Just for fun? Oh God. So that is a bad habit, because this blue light in the tab or the phone or whatever, that will give a signal to your brain telling that it is still daytime. So then it's difficult in the long run. You might be okay today, and you might argue with me that you are okay today, but believe me, it will influence your sleep. So therefore, just before sleeping, don't watch the tabs or phone. for 1 to 2 hours before sleeping, don't watch it. Okay? So then you will get nice sleep, good dreams, and that is a habit that you should cultivate for your life, not only for today, so that you will be a very healthy person in the long run. Okay? So few days, so this is my last slide. So few take home messages. So why we eat? We eat to live, grow and to protect ourselves. So those are the basic needs. So therefore we have to include everything that helps with us. There are 6 food groups and we should eat from all of them because they have different functions. And when we eat those 6 groups also, we have to remember the plate model. So only half of the plate is carbohydrates, 2 to 2/3 should be from vegetables and a protein portion for every day. So that is the balanced meal. And when you are eating snacks in between, just children need snacks, always remember minimally processed. So it should be minimally processed. And then and also keep a note of your urine color, be hydrated and don't eat junk. Just as we choose very well for our outer appearance, we have to choose as much as healthy for our inner health. What we eat today is what we are tomorrow. So I want you all to be flashing brightly just like this when I meet you someday in another 20 years. So my message is please eat natural. It is the best. Yeah? Okay. Then thank you very much.
I really like this program and presentation, what you did, Miss Manoji, and of course Diniru also. So I'm not just going to say anything basic like very good presentation, very like in general good presenting skills, and it's just this topic I always thought when I was small, healthy means just eating fruit, vegetables, those broccoli, carrot, those stuff. But now I know because of this entire program from Dr. Miss Manoji Aunty, that food is a entire balanced diet. I learned a lot from those categories of food and stuff, and also about the new salad combo. Most people say like salad is the most basic, healthy food that you can get, but in general, salads are very important for our body. It contains tons of nutrition. As a vegetarian, it's really helpful. It gives tons of energy for you, proper nutrition, and yeah. So in general, I really love this program. So thank you, Ms. Manoji and Diniru for showing this course.
It really made an impact on me why and how we should take our healthy foods. So thank you for being here, Ms. Manoji, and Diniru. My brother, you loved your salad.